Well, good morning to a early Sunday morning. Well, for some of it's not. But Nick, how's it going, buddy?
Very good. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Chris. Nice
Uh,
to see you guys.
good. Congratulations on the vote yesterday,
Thank
and
you.
I know this is going to be a. Um, I guess knowing you, you're just hitting the ground running right now. And I was thinking maybe he's going to take a little bit of time to relax a day or two, but not you. I think you're you relaxed a little bit, maybe an hour yesterday, maybe. So
Yes.
it's just
Yeah.
a start for you.
Yeah. There's too much. There's too much going on, and I think we need to make sure that we capture the momentum. I think there is a new energy in our community, and it would be a shame if we let that pass. We need to build upon that and really solidify it and move forward and stick to our dates more than anything else.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, especially the basically coming here to maybe announce to the community about the vote and everything like that, and maybe build some joy with everybody. But also you're here because you're going to go over the rebase and incentive calculator, correct?
Yeah. So I've had a lot of inbounds from people, and I've seen the communications in the Discord with some confusion around it. So I thought it would be useful for me to kind of walk through it step by step and explain things and clarify things because I created that in a rush and put it out there. I didn't have a chance to really explain it, and b it is financial calculations, etc., and not everyone geeks out on spreadsheets like I do. So I want to give a chance to like slowly walk through it and answer everyone's questions. And I don't know, maybe we'll uncover if I made a mistake there. If we did, we'll go fix it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that's basically what it's about.
Collaboration, that's what it's about. That's everybody loves to hear that. um, if anybody has any kind of questions, put them in the chat. What's going to happen is we're going to come off the screen. We're just going to have Nick here, and what his he's going to share, and we'll be behind the scenes if he needs us and anything. And I'll be watching the comments. So if you have any kind of comments, we're going to star them, and then after his presentation, we'll come back on. We may have a few people join us. We have several YouTubers that like this is they're traveling, doing things, but we thought it would be good that to add them to the stream. So if you're watching on someone that's not here, know that they're going to try to make it, but at the same time, they felt like it was important to get the information out to their followers also, and so that you didn't have to go to a specific YouTube or anything like that. So, but if you have comments or comments or any kind of questions, we'll star them. We'll let Nick take over, and Odie and I will be backstage. And if Nick needs us for anything, and then we'll be back when he's done. So, is this what you want to share here, Nick?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So we'll be here, but it'll be your show. So I'm gonna remove Odie and I, and then as the video, once we get done with this, we're gonna clip this portion out and just post this for everybody on their YouTubes and wherever you would want to put it, um, so that people can just refer to this and not me talking and Odie and I talking. So, all right.
Yep. Great. Thank you very much. All right, let's rock and roll. So what I have here is a copy of the rebase and incentive calculator worksheet that I shared with the community last week. And what I want to do is go through it step by step and kind of break it down and then put it back together. So let's start with the model. The most important part of the model to understand is that rebases are driven by number of transactions. So the protocol has to have a certain number of transactions, which are spelled out here in the worksheet, before a rebase will occur. So that's the most important thing to remember. So there is no automated rebase that occurs. It's conditional. It only happens if we meet a threshold of transactions. There's also a second condition. You cannot have more than two rebases within approximately a 24-hour span of time. I say within approximately because we don't measure time in days and hours and weeks. We measure time in blocks. So the actual number of blocks is somewhere north of 17,000, but it's about one block every 5 seconds. So you can do the math on that. But so the most important thing is those two conditions. One, rebases occur when a transaction goal is met, and two, you cannot have two rebases within that span of 17,000 or so blocks. All right, with that out of the way, let's talk about how this is structured. Well, I'll draw your attention to the top left here where it says phase one, two, three, four, five. I could easily have put that as year one, two, three, four, five, but it's not going to be by year because we don't know if we will actually meet the transaction thresholds daily or so, like every 17,000 blocks or so. It depends on performance. So if our performance is great, yes, it'll happen approximately every 17,000 or so blocks. But if it's not, then it won't. So it might stretch out. So I've kind of modeled this for approximately the equivalent of our human sort of 5 years, but you need to think of it as phases. You can see here that there's a column that says APR. Now, traditionally, if someone was committing to sort of a rebase blockchain with automated sort of rebasing, you would have the concept of an APR because it would be annual, right? So we don't have that, but we can use that same principle for the purpose of calculating how the rebase increase goes. Now, keep in mind, rebase is just another term for saying compound interest, all right? That's an important thing to understand. So when you hear the term APR, you're probably more familiar with it when you see your credit card statement or something like that. And that's exactly how this applies here. So we are compounding a base balance, the balance in your account, by a period over time. So you can see here that the compounding decreases over time. So it starts off pretty high, but then it goes lower and lower and lower. And the reason for that is because what we want is a model in which rebasing rewards the earliest sort of participants, which is you. So what we want is the rebasing to get harder and harder as time goes by, which means the blockchain has to perform better and better. We need to have more value created through the blockchain over time, in which case the rebasing will occur. But initially, we want it to be a little easier, and we want the rebase, the compound interest, to be higher. And that's what this is. So that APR value is sort of, use that only directionally as an APR because there is no annual concept. There is, however, a period of 365 epochs. Now, if you're wondering, what's an epoch? Well, an epoch is the time it takes for us to get our transaction milestone achieved. So this will become a little clearer as I go through the worksheet. All right, so over here, I have 5.625 million. So that's the incentive coins that are there and available for you. Now, the important part to understand is that the incentive coins are not immediately available to everybody. What happens is every time there's a rebase, there is essentially a reward to the community in that a percentage of those incentive coins move from the sort of vault in which they are into a pool in which they're available. Now, the vesting period for this is 24 months. So if you divide this number by 24, you get 7,812. And so that's how many coins move from the vault into the incentive pool and become available to everybody every time there's a rebase. So think about it this way. Rebase occurs, you get two bonuses, right? You get, first of all, the compound interest, which increases your holdings. And two, you get incentive coins available to you. So that happens over a 24-month period. All right, moving over to your right in this worksheet, this is just a way for us to simulate, based upon your coin holdings, what would be the incentive coins you are eligible for from this pool. And that's it. So I'm going to put in our initial supply, which is 50 million. Is that 50 million? 1, 2, 3. I think that's about right. So now let me just scroll down to the very bottom of this worksheet. And this particular column here is the rebase coins. That's column D. All right. So let's keep our eyes on that. I'm going to scroll way down to the bottom. And our max supply is supposed to be 250 million. So look at that value right here. It's just shy of 250 million. So that tells you that the worksheet is sort of programmed that way, and it is designed to hit that cap of 250 million based upon that progressive APR and based upon the progressive number of transactions required to achieve it. You can also see this column. I can freeze the header, but I know from the top of my head that this one here is a transactions column. And what this is saying is that by the time we get to our max supply, we should be averaging around 500,000 transactions in approximately what would be considered a day, 17,200 or so blocks. Now, if you're wondering, like, wow, that's a huge number or whatever, go take a look at other chains. Ethereum does 1 million per day. Avalanche does approximately 500,000 per day. So this is not some odd number. It's a fairly aligned number with other protocols, and I think we should be able to easily get there or exceed it. All right, let's head back to the top now and work our way through here. Now, I want to address specifically a few questions that come to mind that were sent to me as I was preparing for this. So one of the question was, what happens to 15-minute epochs? That is deprecated. That is history. There is no more fixed time epochs anymore. The epoch is going to, the time for an epoch is going to vary based upon the time it takes to achieve the transaction goal. So before it was the epoch drove the rebase, and now it's the transaction volume drives the epoch and the rebase. All right, so that's new model. All right, let's work our way through here. And I'm going to highlight this column here. Let me also zoom in a bit, making it easier to see on the video there. Let's go a little bit less. Let's do 140. Okay, that's great. You can see both columns here. I mean, all columns here. Okay, so we start when the blockchain goes alive. That's called Genesis. All right, we have a value here of 100 million. So this is just 1.00000008 decimal places expressed as an integer. Why is it expressed as an integer? Because on the blockchain, we don't actually work with any kind of decimal numbers. We call them floating point numbers for precision purposes. We only work with integers. So any number that is a decimal is expressed as an integer, and to display it, you can always divide it by whatever 10 raised to whatever number you have, in this case 10 raised to 8, to have it show up as an integer. So that's what this is. It's really 1.00, and then the next one is 1.00110, and so on and so forth. So it's divide by 10 raised to 8 for that. Okay, so the transaction goal here is 100,000. The rebase coins, we start off at 50 million. That's going to be what the cap table total is. How many incentive coins will be vested? Well, we'll start it off at 0, and it's essentially divide that by the period we have. So, okay, let's see here. Okay, the new incentive coins. So what we want to do is basically say that based upon the value here, 50 million, what are the new incentive coins? You know what? I should go back and change this to 1,000 so it's more realistic for everybody, because that's for the entire blockchain. I was wondering why those numbers are so large, and I just realized I didn't change it back. All right, this is probably better. So if you have 1,000 coins, what are you going to see? Well, so you're going to see that your share of these incentive coins is your coins, that's 1,000, divided by 15 million, because that's the overall OG pool who was eligible for the incentive coins, multiplied by the actual total of the pools. And so you have 0.5 of those coins. On this last one, what it does is it gives you a total of how many rebase coins you got in that epoch, plus how many incentive coins you would have earned in that epoch. So that's basically how this spreadsheet reads. We go on to the next one here, and you'll see the number is slightly higher. Why? Because the rebase value has been impacted by the APR. So it's been this number is what got multiplied, and you can see that number. It's 1.0011011644, and that's actually the exact number you're seeing here. So based upon that, we have a larger transaction goal. So every epoch, our transaction goal grows just slightly, keeping in line with the rebase. So it's not every epoch you have a fixed number of transaction. Every epoch, the goal that has to be achieved by the blockchain grows. Now, I got a question about, well, does that mean that you in the epoch 2 you need only 110? No, because then that would mean that the performance would have to be trivial, and it would defeat the purpose of having a model like this. So yeah, every epoch you need the full number of transactions. So in epoch 0, you need 100,000 transactions in order to move the needle to epoch 1. In epoch 1, you need 100,110 transactions to move the needle to epoch 2, and so on and so forth. And so each of those, so basically, as you can see, the idea is to have rebase be driven by blockchain performance. You got to think back to why this is important. If you think about this in isolation, like there's nothing going on, this blockchain just rebases, etc. It's nice to think about it, right? But it's a fantasy from a market perspective, right? If everyone in the market knows that the coin supply is inflationary, constantly inflationary, what's that going to do to the price? Well, no sane investor is going to pay that same price knowing that in a short time that the value of their investment is immediately going to drop. That is just unheard of, or unthinkable of, unless you're, you have investors who just don't care about it. But the market has investors who do care about their money, and so if you have an inflationary coin supply, the price is going to drop. So we need to hedge against that, right? We need to prevent that from happening. And the basic model here is, look, yes, the supply is going up, but the performance, the value delivered by the blockchain is also going up. So have confidence in that price and either maintain or grow that price, hopefully grow that price, because we are elevating the value of the blockchain. So that's basically the model of this, is to make it possible for investors to see that this blockchain is delivering value, and it's not just inflating supply for the sake of inflating supply. There is no scenario in which a rational investor looks at an inflationary supply of coins and says, cool, I'll put my money into this because 15 minutes later that value is going to drop. It doesn't make any sense. So this is why this model is here. It's essentially a dynamic transaction-based system, and that those transactions act as a dampener. A dampener means something that slows things down. It's a term that's used in aviation and in automotive, but it essentially acts as a brake to ensure that it's not runaway. It just doesn't take off at a random rate. It's there to slow things down so that the reward, the inflation that occurs of the coins and the additional coins that people get are a reward for something, which presents a very fair picture, and it actually incentivizes investors because they know that the next rebase is coming is based upon better performance. And so if you get in now, you get a better investment. So those are the main reasons that this structure is created. Now, going back to the spreadsheet, I color coded it this morning to kind of show you where the periods are. So I highlighted green and white, but you will see that approximately, see that here, 365. So that approximately corresponds to 1 year. I don't want people to think in terms of years and hours and days, because it's more dynamic, right? So, but this is modeled, so approximately every year, the APR changes. If we meet our performance goals, that's exactly what it will be. It cannot be any less than that. Why not? Well, because you can only have one rebase approximately every 24 hours, every 17,000 blocks. So it can't be less than this, but it could be more than this if our performance is not good. But ideally, our performance is right on the money, and so we will see rebases occurring there. So here, this one here basically uses C4, which is the APR that is lower, and then it changes to C5. So you can see the transition occur here. So what's happened here is that it's switched to essentially the lower APR number. And if you go through the spreadsheet, you'll see that occurring at approximately every 365 there. So yeah, that's basically how it's modeled out. Now, also along the way here, you'll see that somewhere this column here stops producing incentives, and that's because we've run out of incentive coins. The incentive coins are a pool, and they are there over a period of time. So this is right here, and this number here is 24 months, which is 720 approximate days. It's a little bit more than that, 730 actually, but I just wanted to make it accelerate a little bit more. So that's basically what we have here. So if in the future the DAO decides to add more incentive coins, then that would increase. But that is not something that's planned in this worksheet today. But it is a DAO, and someone can submit a proposal to add more incentive coins. And if that happens and we all vote on it and the vote passes, then more coins would be also available there. So that in a nutshell is how this spreadsheet works. I'm happy to continue to be on this here and take questions from the audience and clarify any aspect that isn't crystal clear to anybody. I'm here to do that. So Chris, Ori, please come back and we can continue this conversation. You're muted.
Go figure, right? Thank you so much, Nick. Did you want me to leave the slideshow up while you're talking and answering
Well,
questions?
let's see if there's any comments that require that. I'm happy to bring it back up.
Yeah, let's see. While you were going, Chris. Oh, Chris, you're back. Okay, I didn't know. So Nick wanted to start taking some questions, but I saw that you were working hard behind the scenes, starring the questions. Which way? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was typing.
Didn't know which way you wanted to go.
Yeah, these are the ones that I started while when we first started and on, so they may not have to do with the presentation. But ANA has for Nick one centralized exchange on the roadmap is plus 2 weeks, so we should see centralized exchange buys and sells by the end of September. Then
If I gotta pull up that thing, but it's basically having the CEXs agreed on, and then there's an RC2. Is it RC2? Let me just pull that up because I don't want to guess here on this live. Give me one moment. I'm going to pull up my my roadmap so I can get the right dates on there. Yeah, I'm sorry. I expected to answer questions only about this worksheet. All right.
I'm sorry.
So if you look at mainnet RC2, that's plus 2 weeks, and then plus 2 weeks. That's when. So it's actually 4 weeks when the CEX we are live on a CEX. So that's mainnet RC2. So yes, that would be by the end of September approximately. Then yes, that's correct. Yeah, I just wanted to verify that. I don't want to give out false information. Yep.
The second part of the question is have bags split into many wallets. If I move coins from hot to cold wallet, does the NFT move?
Okay, so our goal is that at Genesis, we were going to airdrop the NFTs, but what we want to do now is potentially, I'm not sure yet, potentially have those NFTs be claimed from the wallets. So I think that might be a better model because the NFT is only one per account, and it has the vesting, the incentives, and all of that kind of stuff. So if you move your coins from one wallet to the other, um, the NFT still points to the original account. So you might lose out on a lot of incentives and things like that. But this is a good point to consider. Let me think about how we can make the NFT flexible so it does allow this kind of thing. I had not considered this scenario, so let me think about it. NFT flexible. I'm sorry. I like to take notes so I don't miss out, forget on any point that I've committed to. Moving between accounts. Okay. Uh, I will research this and come up with an architectural solution that possibly allows this. I can't guarantee it, but we'll try to make that happen.
All right. The next question that we have is what is meant by epoch in Google Docs? Is it a day there?
Yeah. So an epoch is really a term that is used in history and in blockchains. And in history, we don't care about that. But in blockchain terms, it is the period to measured for something to occur. So in many cases, it might be a certain number of blocks to be mined. In this case, an epoch is for very specifically, an epoch is for the transaction goal that has been set to be achieved. So we have variable epochs. We don't have fixed epochs where epochs occur every hour or something like that. So you would not use day, hours, anything. It's the number of transactions. When that goal is met, the epoch is completed.
Okay. The next one's kind of a statement, but brings up an issue. Hello, if people think the boosters will kill the project, maybe put a limit of 10 per wallet so big wallets can't dump. Other hand, we might not get enough for liquidity with restriction in place. I mean,
Yeah,
is that's something you thought about?
yeah. Actually, many people have suggested that also. But then also, what we could do is implement a third or different model, which is where you could essentially uh, pay for a certain number of boosters, and we could have a phased approach to it. In phase one, you're allowed this much. If it's not all sold out, then you're allowed to sell more, and so on and so forth. So we could have it in a phased approach also. So that's another model, because one of the things is we do need liquidity, but we also want to balance against the bad side of this.
Mhm.
So I think the model might be that you allow any number of boosters to be purchased, but only a fixed number to be active. And then as we go through the threshold, we meet the threshold, then we either allow more of those or we refund the extra ones that are no longer possible. So I think that's a workable model also. So
Like
Hey, how you doing?
the idea.
Hey, how you doing?
Phased approach.
What's
Yeah.
up, Pride?
How much?
Hey, Brad.
The next question that comes up is for Nick. Can you enable pictures in the rebrand chat so people can post name and logo ideas in there?
yeah, I'll look into that. We are eventually just gonna move to a new Discord, so I just don't want to have people spend a lot of time administering that. But yeah, I can add logo to Discord. Yep.
So this is a perfect time for this question. So Sunny T, or I don't know if it's a question. Well, I guess it is a question. And so Nick, it's off topic, but what type of pens and notebooks do you use for your notes? How do you keep track of all this stuff?
Well, here, excuse me one second.
He's so transparent. He's going to show you the notepad he uses.
Yeah, so I use a notebook brand called I don't know if you can see that, it's Kai Rui. Yeah, it's very hard to see. It's KAI RUI Ying. So they make these small, colorful notebooks. They're easy, and they have this little thing and a little pen
Oh,
holder.
nice.
Um, and I've been looking for a good pencil because I haven't found a good one. But my latest one, I've been using for 3 days now, and I really like it. It's ironically called Nick Pro.
Oh,
Oh, ironic.
is that the one
that-
that you got that
Wink,
you
wink.
posted about your
Yes.
yeah, and I saw that Nick, I got to call you out on something. Okay, you know what? Listen, I don't want to start any kind of conspiracy or whatever, but I saw that you posted that you got some drawing pencils, and they said pro on it, and you were like, "I'm not really a pro." But then a couple days later, you post some type of sketch, and I'm like, "That's a pretty good sketch." So, I'm not sure if you're being totally honest about your art
Hmm.
abilities with us. I think I got
So,
to call
so,
you
so,
out on
so look, Chris, when you're speaking in a community of 4,000 plus artists,
that. Oh, yeah,
uh,
it's true.
there is that scale factor there, and yeah, I consider myself a rank amateur there. So
Yeah, but that drawing that you did, and you said you had sketched it, and I was like, man, that's pretty nice. But okay, we'll go with that. That you're way better than me, but I guess not as good as. And those artists, I'm telling you, you're surrounded by some very very talented people,
yeah.
and including like Fowler. Fowler just joined. He's got some great stuff too.
Yeah.
But
There was a second part of the question. How do you keep track of this stuff?
yes,
So I'll tell you what. I have tried in my life all kinds of various organization systems, note taking systems, task management systems. And what I have discovered is what works best is no system, no task management system. Yeah. So I basically do like almost a JIT thing just in time, where I make like I make notes about whatever I have to do about this meeting, like just literally scribble it out, and immediately I pretend after this meeting is done that the meeting is still ongoing, and I resolve whatever I can on there, and deal with it. Some things you can't deal with immediately, but I've reached a point in sort of my career where it's more about being efficient at delegating things and making sure they get done. And so that's what I do, is kind of delegate out the things that I don't do myself.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's just you have a perpetual fire under your booty, as it were. You just
Mhm.
Under
you
his
never let it out.
perpetual fire under his booty, he never lets out. Okay.
I like it. I like it.
Let's
He's keeping himself
reorganize our
on his
words.
toes, right? You're keeping
don't-
yourself going. Yeah, I like that. No, I really do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, coming from the guy that's extremely motivated, Odie, that's a huge compliment to Nick. So we have another question here, Nick. So when it comes to the centralized exchange listing, was BL lying about being able to tell us who, and do you have an idea of which one you'll be using now?
Yeah, so my goal is to get 2 signed up. I've heard some names tossed around, but I've not seen any communication or any actual information. So I'm loath to kind of say out names here in public without having any idea what they are. So, but I know there's some conversations that have occurred with a few, and I know also that the tax was an impediment to getting those deals done. So we'll get a few. Two is the starting point. We'll get them done. Um, that's about all I know at this point. And as more information becomes available, I will be happy to share that. But I do know that there were conversations. So
Okay, another question from Aris. Nick, those transactions can be minutes or hours, basically can happen by performing.
I believe that got chopped off.
Yeah, I don't see another part of it, so I'm not sure if it was me not understanding what he was saying or one of you guys could understand it.
Yeah, I can directionally answer though. It's important for people to understand what transaction means, right? So on any contemporary blockchain, you can read information as much as you want. Free, unlimited, no problem. The moment you want to change any data on the blockchain, we call that changing state. You're adding something to the blockchain. That is a transaction, and that requires 2 things. One, it requires a signed authorization from an account, and 2, it needs to come with a payment of gas. Because when we use a Dropbox or Google Cloud or something, it's free to us, right? But guess what? Someone is paying the bill. We just don't know about it because we are being marketed to. So we pay the price for it in being marketed to. But Google, Dropbox, whoever is providing that free service pays the bill. In a blockchain, it's decentralized. we are asking to use compute resources. We are asking to use someone's computer, their bandwidth, and their storage. Who pays for it? Well, certainly not the person who's providing that out of the goodness of their heart. So that's what gas is. Gas is basically saying, I want to use the resources on your computer, your bandwidth, etc. And so every time you're changing the state of the blockchain, you're using storage and you're using compute power. And so you have to pay for it. So that's a transaction. There's fundamentally two types of transaction. One transaction is when you send money from one account to another account. That's the cheapest kind of transaction. It's like 0.00021 of whatever the coin is. The second type of transaction is when you use a smart contract to do something. So whether that's buy an NFT or whether it's some DeFi thing where you want to swap, currencies or anything like that, all of those go through smart contracts. There, the smart contract code is just like any other regular computer program. There's lines of code. Each line, based on what it's doing, costs money. It's literally down to that, like each line. And when you add up all of that, that becomes the total gas cost. That's why sometimes some transaction costs more than others. The most expensive transaction is the one in which you store information on the blockchain. If you write data of any kind, because now you're using storage, and storage is very, 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 very expensive on the blockchain. So different types of transactions are going to yield you different gas costs. So from the user's perspective, they are paying. From the validator's perspective, they are earning that. So a validator is incentivized to have smart contracts that are very expensive. But from the user's perspective, they want transactions that are very cheap. You've seen this play out in Ethereum. There are times when there's a huge drop of some kind and gas costs soar and they're like insanely high. And that's because that network is calibrated to have the gas prices go up. So anyway, what we have to do is figure out within our epoch, like if our transaction goal is 100,000, what's it going to be? Well, I don't know. It could be 100,000 people sending, transactions of people sending money back and forth. It could be 75,000 of those and 25,000 of smart contract calls. It could be somewhere in the middle of that. So it's unknown what that will be. But I can tell you this, for the most part, there is no real benefit to people just sending money back and forth to each other. It doesn't make any sense. In fact, in the previous iteration, it made even less sense because you'll be paying 5% every time you send money. Now there's no tax or anything on that. So you can still send money back and forth, but each time it's costing you gas, right? So that's the impediment. So what this is saying is we better have applications that people are using and find useful on the protocol to generate the volume of transactions.
Hey, Nick, where does NFT stand in that whole explanation that you just gave?
Yeah.
Is NFTs considered storage? What type of transaction is NFT, or even minting an NFT? What does that consist of?
Yeah, it's a smart contract transaction where if you purchase an NFT, then you are adding a new record, and so that would be adding a little bit of storage. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I gave a long answer to a non-question, but hopefully you can come back and clarify your question, sir.
Yeah, I think there's an issue with comments being deleted from before. I don't see anything. Shadow X brought it up, but I don't see on my side and I see all the chats from everywhere we're going. I haven't seen anything from Shadow X other than the one from earlier. But here's a comment from Teddy One. Nick, is the last column a cumulative amount of coins?
Yeah, can you throw that back on the spreadsheet, please?
Sure thing.
All right. So let's look at row epoch 1. All right. So in epoch 1, our rebase coins are 1001.10. And this is from a balance of 1,000. So here we know that the rebase was 1.10. We also have incentive coins of 0.52. So if you add 1.10 to 0.52, what do you get? 1.62. So that's what that column is. Now, the astute among you will say that, well, Nick, shouldn't those incentive coins be rebased? and they should. And I was honestly just out of time and a little bit lazy to compute that too. So it's going to be a little bit more. The rebase, the incentive coins should also rebase. So this number is not rebasing this column. So if someone wants to take a stab at it and send me a spreadsheet like that, I'll put it in there. But or I might take a I might, but the number is going to be a little higher. So thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wanna go
We-
to the next one?
I'll bring this down.
Oh, we have a super chat, by the way. Master Baron.
Oh, okay. I will. There's the next one. Okay, there you go.
Oh, okay. Master Baron says, "How about we have some fun and do is it Pocky hottest chip challenge on one of the live streams with Nick, with Kryptonian, Odie, Greek, NR, Pride, and Chris." Oh, ouch!
Oh, you know what? I would lose.
Me too.
Oh, I
I'll
would
lose
totally lose
first.
too.
I
Nick,
would
isn't that what
lose.
you were talking about the other?
I have no idea what we're talking about here. So
Oh, okay. That wasn't the sauce you were talking about from the that pizza or whatever we were talking about.
oh, okay. I
Is that what
thought
that
hottest
is?
chip was some poker chip or some
Oh.
Okay, yes.
I don't know. I'm guessing.
I'd be down
No.
for that.
I don't fancy my insides being liquefied, so
Right.
I don't think I'd last. If that's what that means, am I missing something, Master Baron, or is that what that means?
No,
It's a chip you try and it's like real hot. Like a lot of people can't even
Okay.
eat it.
So we were talking about Scovilles and stuff, right?
yeah, exactly. Chips
Okay.
with hot sauce. Yeah, hot salsa.
Yeah,
hot
Nick will
sauce.
destroy everybody. Never.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no chance. There's no point trying.
All right, we have another question here for OBZ. Is there a small percentage of creator fee we could put on the sale of the NFT that would automatically go back to liquidity?
Okay, so let's break this down. All right. So what the question is asking is, assuming we have a marketplace and it's run by the protocol, that's the first if, right? Because typically protocols don't run the applications themselves. I'm proposing that we have a marketplace. So that's unique and different. So what they're saying is, if an NFT is sold on there, there is a fee due to whoever created the artwork or the piece there, right? And would a portion of that go back to liquidity? Here's what's important to understand. Liquidity, the challenge of liquidity is not having tokens. The challenge for liquidity is having dollars. All right. So to the extent the sale is made in dollars, we can take a portion of that. So we may allow that. We may allow sales to be made with credit cards and things like that, because tokens are not a liquidity problem. We can create as many tokens as we want. It's having cash, right, to balance that liquidity. That's the problem. So this would only potentially solve the problem if we had credit card sales enabled and we take a portion of that cash and put it back into liquidity. So I think, yeah, that's a realistic possibility. But we are already we also want to be fair to creators. We're already going to charge them, for example, the credit card fee, which is usually 2.9% plus 10 cents or something like that. And then in addition, there might be a platform fee. Now we are saying no platform fee, but if we do this, then we would add a platform fee for the explicit purpose of pushing that into liquidity. It's a decent idea. I'm going to write it down here as a potential, but there's a lot of ifs, ands on that. So, but it is a viable idea.
Okay, the next question that I have, and I hope I'm going in order, but Nick, if we don't achieve the 17,000 plus blocks per day, then generally speaking, it could be more than 24 months to reach the cap.
Okay, there is no scenario in which the blocks would not be achieved, because the blocks are constant. They're happening every 5 seconds, right? What the question is alluding to is, would it be more than, I believe they meant to say 24 hours, not 24 months, because that would be too much. So yes, it does mean that let's say that we've just started the counter and we are going and we've hit the 17,000 plus blocks. and we have not achieved 100,000 transactions, yep, we keep on going, until we hit it, and then we hit the rebase, and then the clock, essentially the
Starts
counter
over.
resets at that point, and then you wait to hit the transaction threshold and the block threshold. Both those conditions must be met, and then it rebases again. So I fully expect that if we have a decent set of applications that are well marketed at the launch, then there's a good chance we'll hit those numbers. But it really depends on having applications there and creating the demand for it, etc. So if we are unable to do that, then we might have to wait for the first rebase to occur. And actually, I think of it as sort of a community milestone when we hit that, because it means we have got usage of the protocol. It's not just empty, it's just happened. Like, it's important to remember that getting more coins that are worthless is not very valuable. We got to have coins added that are actually valuable, and they're going to be valuable when we have people using the chain.
Sorry.
All right, I think this was the next one in line, unless Odie, you had one that want to bring up.
No, I hit that by the wrong spot. Go.
This question is this still is it still on the table to move to POS prior to mainnet launch? I know some did not want any additional delay, but at this point, another reasonable delay is acceptable if it means doing it right, in my opinion.
Fair enough. So look, I made a commitment to the community that we would launch this protocol and mainnet RC1 on or before September 1. This is a viewpoint that is pretty sacred to a lot of people. They very much want this to launch. I have, since we've had a couple of those live streams where we had the discussion, etc., I've had a chance to look at the feedback. I've had a chance to talk to the engineers, etc. And I feel like it is much more reasonable for us to stick to our goal, launch as planned, then under the umbrella of the DAO, put together the technical committee and create a transition plan. It's not that unheard of. Ethereum did it, and they were well into their maturity to do it. So if we have to think through it and do it a little later, it's going to be fine, in my opinion. And so I would much rather. That doesn't mean I won't have people look at the viability of it. If we can do it and still keep our date, yes, by all means. But I think the date is more important at this point, just for the future success of this blockchain. So yes, I'm willing to explore getting it done, but we have 24 days. Let's be realistic. That's an engineering kind of miracle we'd have to pull off. The actual technical aspect of it is easy enough, but there's business aspects of it. There is, how do we transition what was committed to the validators to a stake model, etc. There's a lot of business questions that need to be answered while we are trying to do this transition, with all the elements that are in there. So remember, it's like a lot of variables. So I feel comfortable saying that under the umbrella of the DAO, we'll have a technical committee that explores and plans out this in collaboration with the business, some business members that figure out how the transition would occur from a staking perspective, etc., and then orchestrate it. I feel like the worst thing we could do is rush it. That would be terrible. But also equally bad, I think, is to just delay that, because that signals a lack of that will signal a lack of confidence, and we don't want that.
This is a question from Vulcan Insights. It says, "Hi Nick, can you explain how rebasing will work on a SEX? Understand how in our own wallets, but not sure with an account on SEX. Thank you."
Yeah, this is a great question, and this actually gives us an insight into why even getting on board a SEX is a little bit complicated. So remember, when you move your funds to a centralized exchange, it's no longer in your control. It's no longer your private key, right? You have essentially, for all practical purposes, moved your funds to their database, right? So now your actual coins are in the centralized exchange's wallet. So they are the ones who are going to see that rebase occur. What they owe you depends on what terms and conditions they have presented to you when you signed up. The answer could be A, they owe you nothing. In other words, they take
Keep the
full
money.
advantage of all the rebasing and take it themselves. B, they could give you some approximate based on your average balance or something like that. Or C, they could compute it based upon the time elapsed and your exit balance, like when you're withdrawing your funds, etc. There's probably other models also, but those are the three I'm thinking of. So really, it's up to the exchanges. It's very hard for us to dictate what an exchange is going to do. So the short answer to this, the best solution for users is don't keep a large amount of funds in an exchange where you would lose out on rebasing. Now, knowing also that rebasing occurs only once every 17,000 blocks, you can also play that, right? You can put it in after a rebase and withdraw it before the next rebase. So you could game the system a little bit from the centralized exchanges perspective.
The next question on here is congratulations, Nick. Long live the blockchain. When is the brand name finalization?
Thank you very much. I will say by within 2 days or 3 days max, we'll have that finalized.
Cool.
Oh, so you already got the name, everything.
Nice. AA says, thanks, Nick, for answering. It's more of a security reason as many holders have coins sacrificed in hot wallets and want to protect them by moving to cold, hard wallets, but want the NFT to move.
Yeah, since that question, I've been pondering that in my head, and I have a follow-up answer to that also. So that NFT is germane only at the point where you want to grab an incentive or claim an incentive, or you want to vote or something like that. From an incentive standpoint, if you're not claiming, your coins can be anywhere. And actually, now that I think about it, that incentive is based upon your initial sort of a sacrifice amount or balance. So it really, even the coins wouldn't matter. So yes, I think you can safely move them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to think through this without being live and present a good solution for it. I will, but I think that it's going to be okay to be secure and move your coins to a cold wallet without any problems.
Nick, can you please clarify Uxie Labs first? Is our investment still the same, meaning that it will start at $5 per Uxie? And second, is there a plan in motion to change the name?
All right. So the reason I have not yet published a cap table around the Uxie Labs thing, I presented sort of the model for the DEX, but not yet a cap table, is I'm still trying to gather information on it. The issue is the same as with the tokens, as we have to balance what the price is going to be with the amount of liquidity. So I'll produce a similar thing with the cap table. I'll produce different price thresholds and what the sort of liquidity amounts will be. I probably need at least another 2 days because I'll need to get those numbers tomorrow, and then after that, model it out and present that. Actually, I had not considered that name should be changed, but if maybe it makes sense in this in like to fix that also. I'll take that under advisement and write a note to revisit that.
Okay. Next question we got from Sunny T. When everything is released, will we have a DApp to show our incentive coins and rebase coins for the epoch? So if we want to sell rebased and incentives, we know exactly how much?
Yes, but we are going to make it even simpler. Remember, it's an NFT, right? An NFT, all the values you have are going to be NFT, what we call traits or attributes. So you can use any wallet you want or any really any wallet at this point, because we don't have NFT marketplaces yet. But any wallet will show you those traits. Like, for example, if you own an NFT today and you go into your wallet, it'll tell you that it has trait X with a value of 100, trait Y with so it'll say that. But yes, we'll have a dashboard for you where you can go and look at this and look at all like you basically connect an account and it's going to show you, okay, you've got these NFTs in there and these are the values in there. So yes, we'll do that.
Sonny T has another question after that. It says, also with our validator coins, will our validator coins still rebase? The 1,500 locked, but also the some odd 2,700 coins that our nodes have rebased too.
Yeah, so it's important to remember that rebasing is not conditional by coin or whatever. It is protocol driven. So if a coin exists, it doesn't matter whether it's vested, locked, whatever, it's always going to rebase. And we are basically saying that any rebase value is always available to you.
Okay. A&A.
Not locked then? Sorry. So,
Go ahead, buddy. What?
So you're saying, Nick, then with that last part that they're not going to be locked anymore as originally the way that it was set up? Or
I don't think rebase was ever like. Are you talking about the current plan? Or
I'm sorry about
the
I'm sorry
coins.
to her last question. Not the rebased coins, because I know those aren't locked, but the initial, isn't that kind of what part of her question was? Is the initial 1050 vol that we had sacrificed for a node, is that still going to be locked? Wasn't that part of her question?
Oh yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I think she was
I
just
guess she was
asking about
really-
the rebasing.
Okay, yeah, never mind. All right, thank you. I
We
think
got
I
that
missed.
worked out. I'm
Yeah, I did. She was going for the rebasing. She said the 1050 locked. And I was like, is she also asking if the original was locked? You know, that's locked in there. Is that still locked? I get it now.
okay. All right. So the next question, can you ask Nick when he is due to fly to Dubai to set things up? The sooner we shortlist names, sooner we vote, the sooner the word can spread prior to launch. Hoping it is done this week.
Yeah. So there's actually multiple steps to the DAO part. One is to get the things in motion, and the other one is to then show up and actually sign them at the notary public and all of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So my constraint is that the 14th, 15th, 16th, or thereabouts, I have to go drop my daughter off at college in DC. I'm not going to miss that opportunity. That's
No.
my so that is the one constraint I have, and so that's so we'll set the wheels in motion, but the official kind of date on when that will be consummated, it would have to be after that period. I'll figure out exactly when I can go. There's one other concern is that my dad is in Bombay in India and he's not very well. So I have to go and spend time and actually stay there and care for him. So I'll be operating out of that area anyway. So Dubai to Bombay is a short 2-hour flight or something like that. So if I'm needed to go multiple times, I'll probably do that. But I need to take care of my dad.
Yes, definitely. Family.
That's your dad.
Great. Next question is A-Train. Would a special NFT sold strictly to creators to lower the creator fees on a marketplace? Just an idea, like a special tier for creators.
Yeah, wonderful idea. And actually, I'm thinking even going beyond that. I feel like the marketplace run by the protocol should have no fees for creators. And in fact, the opposite. We have some conditions that a creator must meet. If they meet those conditions, we actually incentivize them with tokens to come to our blockchain, because their choices are Ethereum, Tezos, Solana, all of these chains out there. How do we get them to come here? Well, we make it super welcoming by incentives, and two, we create the technology that meets and addresses the needs that they have. So yeah, this is the kind of thing. It could well be that the NFT we give them also has benefits on other marketplaces that come. We could make an agreement with other marketplaces that come onto our platform and say that, hey, if a creator is holding this special NFT, then they should get a discount on the fees or something like that and get that agreement. But I love that idea.
Okay, the next question is, so Nick, what's going to happen to all the light node holders?
Yeah. So there is
Mhm.
currently essentially in the full node channel, uh, I have requested for them to come up with ideas or proposals that essentially solve uh, the exact income problem for validators and light node holders in there. So what I'm now calling validators and backers. So the backers will not have a functional role in the ecosystem right now, but they did have a commitment to get perpetual income. So we got to figure out how to balance that. So my answer is that in coming up with the solution for the validators, the backers are included in that. I will come up with a comprehensive solution around that. And we're not talking about weeks and weeks. I want to start the discussions as early as tomorrow and move that forward until we reach consensus. So I would say by the end of the week we should have an answer to this question.
Here's a follow up to before Nick. I meant more than 24 months to reach the cap because there's going to be days that we will not reach the 70,000 blocks.
Uh, Actually, now I understand the question. Yes, yeah. This is why I said, right. I put it as phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because if we are not doing well, then it could be longer than 5 years, uh, and it could be more than 24 months to hit our incentive goal, also. So yeah, I think everything here is predicated on us having a ecosystem that performs
Yeah.
well.
Yes. Next question: is it remotely possible to onboard more than 4 validators at first?
Yeah, I mean, technically, there's no impediment to it. But the thing is, it's called release candidate because we don't want to sort of reach and extend its reach until we've finished the audit. In case we need to change the software, it's just a little more cumbersome to do it with multiple validators. So we could do it, but I think the closer we get to sort of having a greater risk, that's when we add more validators. So for example, when we reach a CEX level, we want to have more validators because we want to secure the network. We want to make sure it's more secure. But while we are still kind of getting all these agreements signed and getting the blockchain booted up, etc., I would much rather we focus on how to expedite onboarding the validators, automate the scripts and things like that, so that it's easier, knowing full well that our validator community has a significant number of people who have never done this before. So I want to focus on expediting that. So the technical answer is yes, we could do it, but it doesn't seem like a compelling reason to do it.
Will the light node coins still be locked since we are no longer needed?
Yeah, I'll answer that question when I have the comprehensive kind of solution in place. But it stands to reason that that would be the case. Yes.
Um, Marshall, always thinking of names. He said artist chain, direct name to the users. There you go. E-Train, would you allow new minted coins to be added to vested NFT to gain additional governance? A type of stake in a way. Long-term holders would have a go at it.
So these are very interesting ideas and very interesting questions. I feel like it should not be my decision. I feel like this is the reason why we have a DAO. This should be a DAO proposal. We vote
Mhm.
on it. Everyone agrees to it. Boom, it becomes the law of the land, well, or the
Yeah.
law of our chain at least. So I see that my goal is to get us bootstrapped and get us going and set the vision and get the partnerships, etc., in place along the way. But in terms of these ideas and operational details, this is why we have a DAO. We propose things, we get approved, and then we implement them.
Mhm. Um, forget if it was mentioned for unlocked portion of the vested amount. Do we have to claim it, or will it automatically drop into wallets when we sacrificed with?
Good question. So they are referring to the rebased portion. No, wait.
No, it's just like for the unvested, for the vested amount, unlocked portion. It should just automatically be in their wallets, right?
Okay. All right. I understand the question now. Sorry, I had to parse it properly. All right. So you have an NFT that has your vesting schedule, and it has in it, what your initial balance was, etc. So when the way you essentially are able to transfer coins, etc. Let's say that you decide you want to transfer 100 coins from your wallet to another wallet. You can just go and try it. What the contract is going to do is look at your NFT, look at your vesting schedule, and check, do you have 100 coins available that are unlocked and available to move? If so, it'll do it for you. If you don't, it won't do it for you. So that's how it'll work. So you don't have to do any claims or anything like that. That NFT and its rules will make that happen.
Ooh, I think I missed a question. I was messing around. Oh, here we go.
No.
Andrew Chapman says, "Will we be the Da Vinci blockchain?"
Gosh, I love Da Vinci. I'm a huge Da Vinci fan. So
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
Not to
Oh,
mention
okay. I thought I missed a couple of ones. So
no. Most
yeah,
of them are
I think I've got through the questions that were asked so far. I mean, there's comments and thanking Nick and
yeah, I think we got them all.
here we go. Someone just came up here. To reduce number of nodes, allow them to be exchanged for Vol coins at any point for node purchase price, 10K for full node or 250 for light node. And then we have you have a comment for that or is that just a
No,
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
that's
in terms of nodes, we want to increase the security of the network, not decrease it. So I don't know that we want to reduce, but I can see the transfer occurring and allowing that to happen. We'll have to think about that.
let's see. So this is from Saeed. Hello, Nick. What are our situation as old investors versus new investors since they will have full access to liquidity compared to us on vesting?
The boosters are also vested, so that is same situation for old and new.
Same situation. Oh, I missed I someone's telling me I missed Donald Richardson's. Okay, here we go. Donald Richardson says, real estate, Nick, we can add our light nodes to a new token idea such as shipping home sales. Is that the question? I don't know what that means.
well, that goes with he made another statement right
Oh.
before that. This one.
Oh, my bad. I just took it off.
Yeah. So I think that's what that went with.
Let's go shipping container homes.
Okay. I don't understand that one.
I don't know, Richard. I don't know if I'm reading it wrong or if I
No,
don't understand it.
I know he's planning on. I know he's under this question. He's planning on buying like shipping containers and turn them to homes. That's one of his goals.
Oh, like those ADU units or whatever in the backyard, kind of that. Okay, tiny home.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a couple more questions coming in here. Have we got a launch price? Last I heard was $5 and close to 2.5% withdrawal per month will stand. Thanks in advance.
Yeah, we'll have a final launch price when we list on a centralized exchange closer to that, because we'll know our initial booster sales at that time, and that will drive the price. The price is not something made up; it's based on liquidity. So what we can afford to pay for that. That's what it is. I don't know about this 2.5%. Where's that coming from?
Oh,
The vesting
Nick,
period. The vesting.
maybe they aren't up to date. The original vesting, right? Right,
Yeah.
Brad?
That would
They're
be
still maybe a little behind.
0.25%.
Yeah, because that wasn't that the first month originally what BL
Yes.
had said it was going to be two.
Yeah.
So they might not be up to date.
See, Saeed has a follow up on what he meant buying from market on launch.
Yeah, so like our initial price is going to be whatever based on whatever liquidity we can afford to put in there. So yeah, so that would be the market price, and then the market decides after that.
Okay. Razmataz, if I move my NFT with my holdings on it to a hard wallet, will all my rebases, etc., happen in my new wallet?
Yes, the NFT uh, with your holdings in that new wallet will operate just as if it were on the previous one. So yes.
Nick, will we be using EP 1159 so it will burn coins inside transactions?
Yeah, so if memory serves right, this is the new EP that essentially makes Ethereum a deflationary currency by burning coins. Here, we currently don't have a plan for that. It's in fact the opposite, right? We are rebasing. It's inflationary. So currently, no. But again, I'll just keep repeating this. Any idea is something that you would want to propose in the DAO and try and get people to buy onto it. And if we all agree to it, then it becomes how we operate.
Okay.
That's good to know.
So the next one here is so the NFT hold our vested coins and not the wallet address, meaning our unlocked vested coins will show up in whatever wallet the NFT is in.
Yeah, that is the current intended architecture. But we have to keep in mind that there is also an expectation from the user that coins from their account don't just disappear, right? So we don't want that to happen. So I think what we'll have to do is basically have a mechanism by which you authorize via the NFT the transfer of coins, and if you do, then those coins would be tied to the NFT moving forward, and the other ones would not. So I realize that what I just said is very kind of complicated to wrap your head around, but let's just put it this way: we have to architect the NFT solution, and in it we have to think through all these little details. I appreciate these questions because it gives me food for thought and to make sure that we architect it correctly. But this is a good use case, and I will factor that in as we design the architecture of the NFT application and the smart contract.
Next question: how is copyright for creators be guaranteed in the blockchain?
Great, wonderful question. So one of the things in existing token standards, whether it's ERC 721 or ERC 1155, is that the only requirement on chain is to have two things. One is a token ID, which is just a random number, and a link, a URL to metadata about the the actual NFT, the token. So what we are going to do instead is when an NFT is created, we're going to ask the creator to commit to one of the CC licenses, the Creative Commons licenses. So they have various licenses and they have a code associated with each license, and that's global. Everyone respects and knows those. So with the NFT, we would store on chain that code also, so that it clearly hints what the copyright is under which that token is being issued, whether it's allowed for commercial purposes, not allowed for commercial purposes, and so on and so forth. So there is no scenario in which anyone can guarantee copyright. Like that doesn't exist even in any of our other real world system. Like you can go, I don't know, to Amazon or whatever and pirate a movie. You can't. But what you can do is you can communicate what the creator's intention is. Therefore, if that intention is violated, the creator stands a chance in court to go fight and get a settlement or something like that. So we can't guarantee the copyright. What we can do is publish and guarantee the intent of the creator on the blockchain, so that they have proof that if the copyright was violated, that they actually communicated that.
Thanks. The next one here is the periodic token burn is also used as a deflationary mechanism. Is this mechanism possible?
I think so. It is definitely possible, but we've already dampened the rebasing by tying it to a pretty, realistic target of transactions. So it might be that we don't inflate, like we are not inflating as often. So would we need a deflationary mechanism? If the question is about would we want to deflate beyond 50 million, I think you get to a point where you have too few tokens floating around, and then that scarcity has worked well for Bitcoin, but I don't know how well it would work for a general purpose kind of token like this, which is to be used, in marketplaces and things like that. So I think this is an issue that needs to be tossed around, debated, and a great thing again for a DAO committee to talk about as a proposal. But it is feasible. So yes.
Next one here. Will Uxie be included or another way to gain vol?
So in the DEX model I presented on Friday, we talked about how the income would work, and right now that's not tied to vol or the coin right now. So yeah, the answer is no right now.
Next one is there a way to way the rebases can be sent to our DEX and not sent to our sexes? Once coins take off sex and sent to a wallet, they can start rebasing at that point, but in the interim, our DEX gains rebases.
So the important thing to understand here is rebase coins are not sent or anything like that. Rebase is essentially compound interest on your coins, and in the protocol, it's just math. So internally, there's a value, and externally, there's a value you see. So coins are not actually minted and sent during the rebase. I know it's a hard concept to grok, and if you give me a moment, I'm going to pull up a slide I had posted a few days ago. I'm going to show you, and hopefully that will help a little bit, because it is a hard concept to sort of wrap your brain around. Okay, here we go. I found the presentation.
Do you want me? You don't want me to bring this part up, right?
Yeah, no, give me a moment. I'm going to pull it up.
Okay.
Here. So, 1 second.
That's some really great questions so far, everybody. Much appreciated.
Okay, cool. We can bring that up now.
The one that's up right now?
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so I had prepared this, and there's a lot of text on it because I didn't intend to share it on a screen like this, but it'll kind of give you an idea of how things work. So the way rebasing works is, if you look at this box here where my cursor is, let's say that you have 4 coins, all right? And earlier I told you about the rebase multiplier, right? That big number 1 followed by 8 digits, it becomes like 1 point blah blah blah, etc. So just look through this here. Your balance in your wallet is 4. So what do you see in your wallet? So you have to think of rebasing in two terms. What's physically in the protocol storage for your account, and what is shown to everything: wallets, clients, smart contracts, etc. So in the middle of it is some math that goes on. And so left is protocol, right is in your wallet. So initially epoch 0, there is no rebasing. So it's 4 multiplied by 1, that gives you 4, and that's what you see outside. Now this is a contrived example, right? It's got nothing to do with our numbers right now. So it's completely contrived. But you have 4 in the protocol. It's epoch 1, And let's say that our multiplier for rebase is 1.5, which would be 15000 0000. All right, in my spreadsheet earlier. So 4 multiplied by 1.5 is 6. So guess what? In your wallet, you would then see 6 coins. Epoch 2, the rebase multiplier is 2. Look, your internal balance has not changed. Your external balance is now 8. So you get the idea here. This is an important thing to understand, is from a math and a protocol and a technology standpoint, rebasing is compound interest as visible externally. Now, I don't want people to take this as saying that, oh, well, that's not real coins or whatever. It is real coins, because what the wallet sees and what the protocol communicates is it. But from a math perspective, the reason I even brought this up is to show you that there are no coins being sent on rebase. It's not like, oh, rebase occurs, let's take 1 million wallets and go and distribute coins into them. That's not it. It's much simpler for us to change this number, the rebase multiplier, and say that's what's reported to the outside world. So yeah, that's basically it. Let me ask the hosts here, like, what did that increase your understanding of rebasing?
Yeah, to me it did.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. To me, I
I
don't
didn't really think of it that before.
I was
Nick.
waiting for other people to say something. Fowler, you're on mute. If you, he might be dealing with something outside. But yeah,
The key is a multiplier. It's much easier to just say, what is the current multiplier, and present based on that, instead of physically dropping coins and adding. Like, imagine if there were 5 million wallets. How could you even do that? It doesn't make sense to do that. So yeah, we can stop sharing that slide. So.
All right. Let me get back up here. I think we got a couple more questions. What will the price of Uxie be?
Don't know right now, but we'll be able to predict that closer to launch. We'll commit to having a cap table up with the various price targets that we can achieve based on the liquidity available.
Next question is, yes, the 2.5% was from vesting time. So is there any restrictions on withdrawals on day one?
Yeah, there is a vesting schedule. So your initial vesting is 0.25%. Then for the next 5 months, it's 0.30%. And then after that, it's just divide the balance by 12 months. And that's what's available to you.
Okay.
In addition, your rebasing is available to you. Your rebase tokens are available to you.
So this might go along with this. Nick, the tokens that we have sacrificed, do we get a small percentage of that every month? We'd be able to sell it, or is it stuck for 16 months?
Same answer as the previous one.
Yeah. Okay, the next one is Rez Matez. He's got a follow-up on what he was talking about earlier. Hoping that's correct, as sacrifice wallets have been compromised. So hoping when I move my NFT to the new wallet, all future payouts will be fine.
Yeah, right now we are working on, what, if any, a process might be to change your sacrifice wallet at Genesis, because we have no way of validating someone there. All we have is their initial account, right? That was used to sacrifice. We are already seeing on the BTC validation that there are a bunch of scammers there coming up with all kinds of things to try and trick and say that, oh yeah, this was my BTC sacrifice, when it was in fact not. So I feel for the folks whose wallets have been hacked, because it is punishing, but at the same time, it's really challenging to come up with a process. I'm committed to making one. It's probably going to be some KYC and, I don't know, some long-term lock or something in addition to what you have, in order to be able to move to a different wallet.
Biz has a question, and he's got a follow-up too, so I'll read that too. What is your vision on how this blockchain will work with film and TV industry, or should we keep this close to the vest?
Well, I think it's in our interest to make public our intentions as quickly as possible. So Film 3 is the initiative under which movie makers, etc., are trying to get Web3 going, but it hasn't had much traction. So I think the way we can at least start with traction is start in looking at indie movie producers and directors, and seeing how can we incentivize them, whether it's capital, in order to actually release that movie via an NFT on our protocol. So that would be sort of the model loosely. We'd have to figure out exactly the details of it. But I already had the pleasure of producing my first Bollywood movie. I got a production credit on it. It was a short film. It was launched on Disney Hotstar, as they call it there in India. And basically, I bought an NFT as a producer, and I got a film credit there. So what I would want to do is extend that model a bit, so that anyone could come, and we would provide the model for them to produce, like fund the production of the blockchain, including us. And then also we would make ownership of that blockchain available to people who would contribute smaller amounts, so that any future revenue from that film would be available pro rata to those people who essentially funded the creation of the film. But so the thing is, there's no fixed model for that right now, but we ought to propose one and get a couple of filmmakers to make one in that, test it out, refine it, and keep doing that, and ultimately then approach a bigger studio to consider. For a while it was unthinkable that any movie would ever launch on anything other than like a big studio label. But now we've got Netflix launching, we've got Apple launching, etc. So it's well within the realm of possibility that a protocol could launch a movie. And there's been a few experiments around that too. So I don't want to say that we would be the first, but hopefully we can be sustainable.
What about like the music industry? Any focus like on music artists as far as bringing their music and trying to implement that into the blockchain?
Yeah, there's already a bunch of music NFTs out there. I have a bunch. I've talked to a bunch of artists, etc. And yeah, I think musical artists are fed up with the labels and how poorly they are treated. So if we have a good incentive model for them, they will come. They will come. The thing is, it's all about market, right? What are the labels giving them? The market. So until we are able to give them something parallel to it, that's the challenge. So it's not something that doesn't have a solution. We can come up with solutions to it.
Nick, what would you see happening with our blockchain coin wrapped with Bitcoin? Does the rebasing and store of value add benefit to this route? Just thought of it, but not an expert in wrapped coins.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why you would even consider wrapping this is to handle the fact that most other protocols and most other coins have no idea what rebasing is and couldn't handle it. So I think the reason you would even create a wrapped version of a coin is to be able to sorry for I just interrupted myself there, but imagine a DEX where you have a pair of some other token versus this coin, right? What happens on the DEX from the liquidity provider's perspective? They basically say, I don't want to provide liquidity here because it's constantly dropping, right? The value of the other coin is constantly dropping. So what's the solution for it? The solution for it is to create a wrapped version of our coin, so that the wrapped one is constant price versus another token, and only when you unwrap it is when you would realize the rebase benefits. So the short answer to this is that wrapping provides a solution, but not to gain rebasing, but to really address the issue of rebasing as relates to other tokens that are not rebasing.
Okay.
I know, a lot of mumbo jumbo. I get that. I can see the glazed look on everyone's face.
I'm just thinking through my head on that. can we have an OpenSea like in our blockchain?
That
Mhm.
is slated for let's see, after mainnet RC2, mainnet RC3. Mainnet RC3 is when we are slated to have an NFT marketplace. So yes.
Okay, got a little maintenance here. I have a question that you put in that I have starred that's coming up soon, and I noticed that you retracted it. Do you not want me to bring that message up? Just let me know. It's a few questions from here. Go ahead. What were you going to say? Who was going to say something? I thought Pride was going to say
No.
something. So, this next question that's here: does internal balance grow with rebase, or does he mean he doesn't mean rebate? He means rebase, right?
I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
The internal balance is something
Oh.
no one should care about. I only showed it to explain to you how rebasing works. All you
Right.
care about is the balance that is expressed to wallets, etc. Internal, it's just like, do you really care about how, when you're working with, like, I don't know, Google Sheets or something, do you care what it's doing internally? No, you don't care. You just care about what you're seeing in the cells, right? It's just like that. So don't worry about what's internal.
Okay. Next one. If a wallet has to KYC to prove it doesn't belong to you, know who, and that wallet has both coins and full
Node.
node and was already KYC'd, will it need to KYC again?
Oh, I think he is referring to our past. Yeah. To prove it doesn't belong to you know who, and that wallet has both coins and full node and was already KYC, will it need to KYC? Um, well, I don't know how to answer this, but if it's KYC'd and proven not to be a certain
Yeah.
individual, then what's the point of KYCing again? It'll produce the same result, right?
Right.
So I'm going to say that no, you don't need to KYC again because it will produce the exact same result a second time.
Okay. So
Yeah.
here's a question from ANA, and he retracted it because he wanted to add cold storage wallet at the beginning instead of hot. So he says, another question, Nick. Say I have coins and 4 cold
Cool.
wallets and wanted to move to one cold hard wallet. Is that okay? As it would be 4 NFTs to one, trying to slimline the number of wallets.
Yeah, my goal is that after Genesis, you should be able to move things around freely. That's the intent here. So, yeah, I think we should be able to do that. Not a problem.
Not a question, but it's not starred, but I just happened to see it. Honestly, thought my vol investment was dust. You don't know how appreciated you are for stepping up to the plate. Very impressed with the professionalism being shown. Awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Gonna try my best. You know, we still are not out of the woods. I always want to be straight up with people. We have a long way to go, but we'll get there.
Biz has another question here. What is the incentive of owning? Do you receive future publishing writers residuals?
Talking about owning an
He,
NFT or
he's
something.
talking about a
Was that-
question that OBZ had asked. He's responding to OBZ.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even see the OBZ. I was thinking Nick. I'm like, oh, he's got. What's he talking about? My bad. I'm sorry about that, Biz. The next question is, do you want me to hunt down and kill the 4 no votes?
Oh God.
No, sir. I embrace the 4 no votes because it's a community. Everyone is entitled to their say. I'm hoping that over time I can convince them to yes, but
Yeah,
sometimes the
that's what
people.
we were talking about that yesterday, and I mean,
Yeah.
and we ran a poll on ours, and we had, I think it was 6% said no, but
I had
94
100% on
yes.
mine.
And
100% say yes.
my thing was, not without doxing them and like calling them out
Yeah.
or anything like that, but I would hope that they could. The reason why they voted no was, and they had some reasons, and we could talk through it, and maybe they had an idea that was no, that we could have suggested to you, or when the DAO is formed and everything like that, that would correct that, or not correct it, but they would change their vote and they would be happier with it. But that's what my thought was on it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think everyone, at the end of the day, we have to work together, and so I would love to hear from the people who said no and understand what our difference is. And as I always maintain, we can disagree without being disagreeable. So let's talk about it. So
Did I
I
bring?
certainly hope no one in the community is in any way, if their identity is known, no one should in any way disrespect or do anything to them other than just have good, solid
Yeah,
discussions.
yeah, yeah. Because we learned that way.
Agreed.
Um, will projects be able to build on the blockchain other than NFTs?
Yep, anyone and everyone is welcome. All NFTs is our focus of go to market. So our marketing focus is going to be there because if you don't focus somewhere, our marketing dollars are just wasted. Because if you just say you're all things to all people when you launch, then you're nothing to anybody. So we want to have our marketing dollars be put to wise use. So the blockchain doesn't constrain anybody. It's just who we are targeting.
Oh shoot, where did someone posted something? I'm like, where did that question go? Um, can our light nodes be invested into up and coming projects that are tangible?
So, a light node is physically would have been a piece of software, but right now it's essentially what was it, $219? Was it approximately something like that? Spent in the pursuit of having a mechanism that would give you recurring revenue, right? So, uh, to invest that into something, I don't know how that would work out, but like I said, I'm committed to having a solution for it in place by the end of the week. So let's look at that, and then from there move on.
I think we have this kind of a question, but why no more activity on Twitter? 3 weeks without post seems dead to people.
It's
Yeah.
I see Nick on there all the time. I'm not sure. Is this?
I guess from like the Vulcan blockchain Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, we are trying not to promote that brand more. So
Yeah.
that's the main reason. But honestly, the moment we have the new brand solidified, it will be we will accelerate and really come out strong.
Okay, and I don't have any other questions after this one, and I don't know how much time you got, but we can start wrapping up your portion if you want. If the blockchain, each token is $5 and we paid $9, we will get the same value, Nick, because there's a loss of 50%, if not. But glad that the if that increased the token amount.
Yeah, so it's all connected, right? If you increase the token amount, the whole cap table changes, and then the whole liquidity amount changes, etc. And um, so yeah, all we can do is launch with a price for which we can cover the liquidity, and then make sure that we've got enough value generation either in the plan or already in play, so the market sees that. Because at the end of the day, that's just a starting price. It means, like, who knows how long that price will be sustainable, right? So our goal is to make that price not only sustainable but grow it. um, so I cannot see us honoring a $9 price because we just won't have the liquidity. So it is what it is. Everything's changed for a reason. We have to make do with what we have.
I saw this one. I must have missed this one that was starred, but OBZ says, any chance that you'll be dropping a commemorative NFT to all the wallets that participated in the vote? That'd be kind
We should have some surprises up our sleeve. So stay tuned.
That's cool. OBZ. OBZ's got another one. Oh, that's at Biz. I'm sorry. Um, Yeah, I don't have any other questions that I've seen that are starred other than did we get to this oh that's the one that I just brought up. Okay. Yeah, so I don't have any other questions. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, I don't know if you have time to put them in there. But Nick's been here for quite a while. I think it's great, Nick, about the vote, and um, you know, you were talking about the upcoming things of your travel and everything like that, and hope everything's great with your daughter's move,
Yeah.
and especially with your father. I really hope that you'll be able to have quality time and be with him.
Yep. Thank you. I've done that before. I've operated from India for a long time, and I was caring for my mother when she had cancer, and she eventually passed in Jan 2018. But I worked from India. Like that's the nice thing about the world we live in. You can work from
Yeah.
anywhere, right? So you got an internet connection, you're good to go. And so, yeah, I'll be doing that.
It looks like we had another one come in. Let's see. On the fund tracker, can you also post actual receipts of any bills we pay?
Sure. You have to understand that right now, I still am not in control. I don't even have access to the multi-sig yet. So once I do, I plan on doing that. And we'll actually have it better than in just a Discord. We'll probably have a place to go look up and attach invoices. I think invoices and receipts. Yeah. So depending what the case might be. So
Uh, did we miss a question from Teddy One? Did you guys see that? What about my question on incentives for vote participation? Is
I'm
that
looking.
did we? I can't see anything
Oh,
from.
wait a minute. I think I found it.
Okay.
Okay. I think it's this one. Oh, well, no, it was at OBZ, though.
You right one of this one, didn't you? That's at OBZ. Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm scrolling way back.
Well, I mean, he's saying that get an NFT for voting, and that NFT comes with incentives themselves. Just throwing it out there, incentives for being. Is that archived?
Active.
No, he says he tagged
Make
me.
active.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. He already passed that. Okay. All right, Teddy. All right. Okay. I just didn't want to miss anybody. If I missed any of them, I apologize, and I apologize to Nick and the panel. I was trying to go through those, but I may have missed something. So
No, I think we got them all, man.
yeah.
Thanks so much, Nick, for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
I
you.
appreciate all of
Yeah.
you for hosting, and thank you for letting me be on here and answering the community's questions. I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday. I will go get some sunshine and then get back to work. So
Right on.
Awesome.
Enjoy
Take
some
care.
beach time again. Yeah.
We'll be doing another X Space tonight. I think it's like 6 p.m. Eastern. I don't know, but we were just one of those ones that were just hanging out, talking. So if you got time, Nick,
Yeah,
I
6
mean,
p.m. Eastern.
sure,
yeah. So if you got time, if you want to
I would
stop by.
definitely love to be on us. Like, see, you have Twitter Spaces that are all business, and then there's Twitter Spaces that are chill.
Mhm.
I'm happy to be on a Twitter Spaces that's more chill. We can more talk about life and other things and our
Yeah, because
puppies and all
that's
that.
kind of what we do.
Yeah,
We're just, I
yeah,
mean, people have questions, they have legitimate questions, but most of the time we're talking about pretty much anything that any one of the speakers want to talk about. And then it's great because people can come up and just say hi and talk about something else.
yeah. I would love that. So yeah, definitely like those spaces. And I have the same thing where I'm hosting a space and it was intended to be chill, but then people bring in some serious questions and it just changes into a serious one. And
Yeah.
then I switch. I switch from my business persona to my like casual persona, and yeah. But yeah, I'll stop by.
Got like a
Well,
hard hitting blockchain question followed immediately by a pineapple on pizza question, right, Nick?
hold on a second.
With the sriracha.
I see something from Kelly Production say he asked it, but we missed it. Chris, did Nick talk about the ETA on Dubai trip for a legal entity? Thanks, Nick, for your time.
Yeah. So as I addressed, it'll be post mid August, and somewhere early September. But that doesn't mean we won't start the process.
Nice. All right. Well, I think do you guys want to hang out and talk about anything else or anything like that, or you just want to wrap it up here and we'll leave.
I'm gonna
with
wrap it
that.
up. I'm going to get some lunch.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
I got chores.
I'm starting to feel some lunch too. All right, so we're gonna do an X space or Twitter space, whatever you feel comfortable calling it, at 6 p.m. Eastern. It'll be on Fowler's channel, and I think am I on there too, Fowler?
Yes, you are.
Okay, and will the NFT be given to all holders, or must we buy?
Must we buy?
You've already bought it. And when you sacrifice or whatever, you already bought it. So you got it. Yes.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, if you have any questions, send them to me. We'll try to bring them up. Send them to anybody on the panel. We'll talk to Nick about it, and we'll see you later.